American Express, Chase, Capital One, and Bilt points all transfer over to British Airways Avios, and every once in a while there's these transfer bonuses that are 20, 30, sometimes even 40% transfer bonuses where you transfer credit card points over to British Airways and you get some extra points. So when you transfer 10,000 credit card points, instead of receiving 10,000 British Airways Avios, you get 12,000, 13,000, or sometimes even 14,000. It's a pretty good deal in itself, but if you really want to maximize your credit card points, you need to stack these transfer bonuses with high value redemptions that you can really maximize your redemptions. In this video, I'm going to go over 5 ways on how you can stack British Airways Avios transfer bonuses with high value redemption opportunities to really maximize your credit card points. We'll go through some domestic flight options, then some aspirational international business class redemptions that can get you a ton of value out of your credit card points. Chapters are down below if you want to skip around. First up is using British Airways to book American Airlines flights. Since American Airlines and British Airways is part of the same One World Alliance, that means we can book American Airlines flights through British Airways and vice versa. But that's only if you're able to find award availability, and there are a couple different ways to search for award availability. Let's go through those now. Since we're booking our flight through British Airways, we can search on British Airways. That's the obvious way to search. And what you would want to do is go to book and then click on book flight with Avios, and that'll ask you to log in. I'm already logged in and it'll take you to this page. And so, for example, we're going to search LAX to Salt Lake City, February 13th, 2024. It doesn't matter what class we choose, first, business, or economy. It'll show us all 3 in the search results anyways. Let's do one adult and get flights. Give this a minute to load and it'll show you the flight results. And scrolling down here, you'll see this American Airlines logo. That means this flight is operated by American Airlines. We see 7 left in economy, 6 left in business class. If we click on economy, it'll tell us that it's 7,500 Avios and $5.60. That's how many credit card points we need to transfer over to British Airways in order to book this flight. Obviously, it would be less if we have a transfer bonus that's 20, 30, or even 40% transfer bonus. So the number of Avios required will depend on how far you fly, the distance of miles that you fly on a flight. So for example, 1 mile to 650 miles is 7,500 Avios. 651,000 to 1,151 miles, 9,000 Avios. 1,151 to 2,000 miles is 11,000 Avios. 2,001 to 3,000 miles is 13,000 Avios. That's LAX to New York. For our search, we found award availability immediately, but if we don't find award availability, then you might have to click day by day and search day by day, and it could take a while. So for example, if I click on February 15th here, it might say there's no award availability, and so you have to click day by day. If you don't want to search day by day on British Airways, you can use Qantas to see a monthly calendar view. I have to warn you ahead of time though, this is not always 100% accurate, but it is an option. So let's head over to Qantas. Hold on. Before we do that, I'm getting a phone call, and it's another spam call. Did you know that data brokers collect and sell your personal information to robocallers and spammers? That's why you keep getting these stupid spam robocalls. Aura, the sponsor of today's video, helps you protect you and your family from spam calls, data brokers, and online threats. With Aura, you can identify data brokers who are exposing your information and submit an opt-out request on your behalf. Brokers are legally required to remove your information if you ask them to, but oftentimes they just make it really difficult, whereas Aura handles everything for you. Aura offers parental controls, antivirus, VPN password management, identity theft insurance, and credit monitoring all in one affordable package. Let Aura do the hard work for you and keep you safe online so you can just focus on other things like maximizing your credit card points. You can go to aura.com/maxpoints or scan the QR code on the screen for a free 2-week trial and stop data brokers from exposing your information and sharing your phone numbers to scammers. Thanks Aura for being today's video sponsor, and let's continue with maximizing our points. So here on Qantas.com, I'm already logged in on the top right over here. So you have to have an account in order to be able to search for award availability. And I clicked on use points, flexible dates over here, LAX to Salt Lake City, the same flight that we just searched on the British Airways website, same date, February 13th, 2024, and click on search flights. Give it a second to load the results. And so these are the flight results. We kind of just want to ignore this. The reason why we're searching on Qantas is that if we scroll all the way down and click on search for classic rewards, and it gives you an award calendar that roughly gives you an idea of which dates have American Airlines partner award availability. Since Qantas sees this award availability, British Airways should see the award availability, but not in all cases. And so this is where things can get a little tricky. These red ribbons means that there's economy award availability. So we want to identify the dates that have the red ribbon, and there's a chance that we might find it over on British Airways. And again, this is not 100% accurate. Sometimes Qantas sees award availability that British Airways is not able to see. And so for example, if I click on the 5th here and click on continue, so it shows this award availability from LA to Phoenix, Phoenix to Salt Lake City. So it has a connecting flight. And so there's availability in economy. If I run the same search on British Airways is not able to see that award availability. This is where you might need to call British Airways to see if they see that award availability. And again, British Airways search engine is not very good. Sometimes it doesn't see the same award availability as other partner airlines. So that is just a warning for you. Use the Qantas page as a guide, but it's not always 100%. If you want a better way to search for American Airlines award availability using a paid tool, that's where Expert Flyer comes in. Expert Flyer is a tool to search online award availability based on fare codes. It's a more intermediate miles and points tool to use. It is a paid tool, but it does have a free 5-day trial, so you can test it out to see if it's helpful for you. This is the most accurate way to search for American Airlines award availability that you can potentially see on British Airways' website. This is expertflyer.com, and there's a free version and there's a pro version. And if you want to pay for Expert Flyer, you can get the basic version, which is $4.99 a month, and run your search that way. If you want the premium one, it's $9.99 a month. And again, there's a 5-day free trial that you can use to run your search. And so on Expert Flyer, what I like to do is click on awards and upgrades, and this will take you to this screen. And we're going to search that same route that we did earlier on, Salt Lake City. And what I like to do is kind of pick a date, let's say February 13th, and do plus or minus 3 days. So you're searching a total of 7 days all at once. I'm going to go and click on American Airlines, and then I'm going to go and click on Coach Partner Awards Fare Class T. I'm going to change this to direct nonstop only and click on search. And so looking at the results here, 0 means that there's no seats available for that fare code, that partner award availability. 6 means there's 6 seats, 7 means there's 7 seats on Tuesday the 13th or on February 12th, the day before. And the rest of that week, there's nothing available. And so that means that on the 13th and 12th are the only 2 days that has nonstop flights LA to Salt Lake City on American Airlines that has award availability that British Airways can potentially see. So what I would do is go over to British Airways and type in LAX to Salt Lake City, one way for now. And let's do that February 12th date and hit search. And so on February 12th, it says 6 available left in economy. And Expert Flyer says on February 12th, there is 6 seats available. That's just a quick walkthrough on how to use Expert Flyer. If you want a more detailed walkthrough, I have a course that goes through how to use Expert Flyer to find award availability for a bunch of different airlines. I'll link it down in the description. Speaking of domestic flights, one of the most popular options is to fly to Hawaii using British Airways Avios. So let's get into the second option. American Airlines flies from Phoenix or LAX to Honolulu. Phoenix to Honolulu is 2,917 miles, which means it will cost 13,000 Avios one way. LAX is 2,556 miles, which means it'll also cost 13,000 Avios one way. You search the same way that I showed you previously on British Airways or on Qantas or on Expert Flyer to identify the award space and book through British Airways. If you factor in a 20, 30, or sometimes 40% transfer bonus, it could be as low as 10,000 points each way. A good option to fly to Hawaii if you're based near LAX or Phoenix. As a third option, you can use the same strategy to fly through the Caribbean too. American Airlines has a strong presence in the Caribbean. Miami to Puerto Rico, for example, is 1,444 flight miles, so that means it'll be 9,000 Avios, and with a transfer bonus, it could be as little as 7,000 credit card points each way. So that's a pretty good deal. So now let's get into some aspirational international business class redemptions. These redemptions really boost the value of your credit cards points because sometimes these flights can cost $3, $4, $5, or sometimes even $10,000. The first one is Iberia business class. Iberia is the flagship carrier for Spain. I know it's not the best business class in the world, but it is still lie flat seats, lounge access, and all the fun things you get with business class. It's worth it, especially since you can book it for as little as 27,000 credit card points when there is a transfer bonus. Iberia is part of the One World Alliance, so is British Airways, so that means you can book Iberia flights through British Airways and vice versa, as long as you find the award availability. Iberia has this sweet spot redemption for business class flights to Madrid. If you fly from Chicago, New York, or Boston to Madrid, on Iberia operated flights, it's 34,000 Avios for off-peak dates. Throw a transfer bonus on top of that, and you get to Madrid in business class for as little as 25,000 credit card points one way. So when you want to make this redemption, the first thing you should do is go onto Iberia's website, which I'll link down in the description down below. And you want to look at this calendar and identify dates that are off-peak. Off-peak dates are the dates that are not in red. And so there's a decent amount of dates that are not in red, which means they're off-peak. The calendar doesn't go into 2024 yet, but you can kind of expect the same dates in 2024 as well. And so the best way to search is go on to American Airlines, click on redeem miles and put in one of those routes. I put in Chicago to Madrid, put a random date in October and hit search. This gives me my flight results. I'm not going to look at this. I'm going to go to the calendar up here, and this will help us quickly search through that award availability. Click on nonstop and click on business and first class, and we can go month to month and see which dates have award availability for that nonstop Chicago to Madrid flight. And what we're looking for are dates that say 57,500 miles. And going through here, there's 4 dates in January here. Let's click on the 17th, for example, and click on apply changes. So as we can see here, there's the Iberia operated flight here, and there's 1 seat left in business class. So this is where American Airlines is not really accurate in seeing some of this Iberia award availability. And so I just want to note that it's not always 100% accurate, because notice this says 1 seat left here. What we're going to do is go over to British Airways and run the same search on British Airways' website as well. Over on the British Airways website, it's kind of running the search right now. And these are the flight results: Chicago to Madrid on the same exact date, Chicago to Madrid on Iberia Airlines, and there's 2 business class seats left. And so American Airlines says there's 1, British Airways says there's 2. Use American Airlines as a guide. It's not 100%, at least it'll help you narrow in some of those dates. If I click on this business class, it should say 34,000 British Airways Avios. And so, yep, 34,000 British Airways Avios and $132 in taxes and fees. And this is one way from Chicago to Madrid in business class. And of course, if you stack the transfer bonus on top of that, it can be even less. I wish there was an easier way to search for award availability on Iberia, but unfortunately, there's not. Using American Airlines award calendar is not always accurate, or using British Airways website to search day by day is really the best option you have. You can check out the video up here if you want more details on how to make this redemption. Moving on to the last redemption, which is using British Airways Avios to book Qatar business class. Qatar joined the One World Alliance a few years ago, and then a year or so ago, they changed their loyalty program to Avios, the same British Airways Avios. That means we can use British Airways Avios to book Qatar business class flights. I just have to warn you though, this is not an easy booking. Award availability can be extremely tough to find. The best way to search for these flights is to use American Airlines website again. So let's go over to AA.com. I'm back here on American Airlines' website and click on redeem miles and put on one of those routes that Qatar Airways operates. Philadelphia to Doha is one of them, just 1 passenger for now, and departing in April 2024, and click on search. These are the flight results. I can look at this, or I can go to the calendar up here and then also look at the calendar view. I'm going to change this to nonstop because Qatar is the airline that operates that flight. Change the business and first class, and what we're looking for are the dates that have 70,000 American airline miles. And so April has 1 date here on the 29th, and there's only 1 date in May here, and June has 1 date as well. And so like I said, award availability on this is extremely difficult to find. And so if you find one that works for your date, then go ahead and book it, because it's not going to stick around for long. And so I'm going to go and click on the 29th here, click on apply changes. And it says operated by Qatar Airways, and there's 1 business class seat available. And so what I'm going to do is take this award availability, April 29th, Philadelphia to Doha, Qatar, and run the same exact search on British Airways. And here on British Airways, Philadelphia to Doha, April 29th, if we click on business class, it will say 70,000 Avios and $103 in taxes and fees. And so if you stack a transfer bonus on top of that, it's going to be even less. So with a 20% transfer bonus, that's 59,000 credit card points. With a 30% transfer bonus, that's 54,000 credit card points. With a 40% transfer bonus, that's 50,000 credit card points. Some awesome deals if you can find the award availability and stack it with a transfer bonus and fly in one of the best business classes in the world. If you want to add a connection and maybe add a connecting flight to the Maldives or Africa or the rest of Europe, check out this video up here and it'll give you more details on how to make that booking. So that's 5 ways to maximize your credit card points and take advantage of British Airways Avios transfer bonuses. Comment below if you have any questions, and remember to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It really does help out my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.